Hello, last time I took a look at Sweeney Agonistes, the fragment of an agon, so I thought I'd continue my journey with Sweeney and also try to analyse the other Sweeney poems which Eliot wrote. They appeared in the book of rhyming poems called Poems in 1919, and this one that I'm looking at today is Sweeney Among the Nightingales. So it's a simple poem on the surface, although it uses complex vocabulary. The form is simple, but it's more complex than appears, because you really have to know about the Agamemnon myth, and particularly Aeschylus's play Agamemnon, to really understand what's happening in this poem. So in Agamemnon, by Aeschylus, Agamemnon returns home to his palace, a conquering hero after the destruction of Troy, and he brings with him the Trojan priestess Cassandra as his mistress, much to the chagrin of his wife Clytemnestra. So, of course, it's really making total mockery of the marriage. However, she already hates him anyway, because on his way to Troy he sacrificed his own daughter, Iphigenia, to the gods in order to get favourable winds to take the fleet to Troy. So she's been plotting with her own lover to kill him on his return. But she plays the part of the loving wife on his return and rolls out the purple carpet for him. But in reality, she's plotting to kill him, and as soon as he takes a bath, she takes her knife and stabs him to death, and Agamemnon cries out that he's hit with a fatal blow. So we need to know about this in order to understand this poem. It seems that Sweeney, the debased modern man, is ironically and satirically being compared to Agamemnon here, the great sort of mythical hero from the past, and it looks like there is some sort of plot going down here. There are 4 or 5 people in the room, and they're all involved in a scheme against Sweeney. We don't know if they're trying to kill him, trying to murder him, or is it some kind of swindle that they're envisaging. Looks like they are in a restaurant of some kind. It could be the restaurant in a brothel, or something fairly low and seedy anyway. So that's the background to the poem, and we don't actually find out a lot more in the poem. We're just told about what the characters are doing and how they're trying to combine, and what Sweeney is thinking about it and doing about it. But by the end of the poem, we're no further on really in our discovery of what the plot is. We're not told what the plot is. We only know that there is a plot against Sweeney, and we can guess that, like Agamemnon, he's committed many crimes against women. Agamemnon took many lovers while he was in Troy, so betraying his wife there. Then he brings back Cassandra, which is a terrible insult to his wife, Cassandra, in his own palace. And of course he also kills his own daughter, sacrifices his own daughter for favourable winds to Troy. So we can guess that Sweeney is probably similar and has committed many crimes against women. Anyway, they are all combining against him in this poem and trying to create a story that results in his death or in his swindling. So I think at this point we should just take a listen to the stanzas one by one. Let me bring it up if I can find it. Yeah, here it is. Let's see. I spoke too soon. Here it is. No, here it's not. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, it's not that. Okay.
Among the Nightingales by T.S. Eliot. Ape-neck Sweeney spreads his knees, letting his arms hang down to laugh. The zebra stripes along his jaw swelling to maculate giraffe.
So Sweeney is like an animal that's established from the beginning. Ape-neck Sweeney's got a neck like an ape, and he acts like an ape. He spreads his knees and lets his arms hang down to laugh. That's how he laughs, like an ape. He lets his arms hang down. We can imagine his shoulders going up and down, probably. The zebra stripes along his jaw swelling to maculate giraffe. So it seems he has some kind of sideburns, which look like black lines along his jaw. And when he laughs, they change their character and look more like blotches, the blotches of a giraffe. So, yeah, he's compared to three kinds of animals: an ape, a zebra, and a giraffe. So there's no doubt about his animalistic nature from the beginning. He seems to be in a good mood, he's laughing, so he's not uncomfortable in any way.
The circles of the stormy moon slide westward toward the river plate. Death and the raven drift above, and Sweeney guards the hornet gate.
So the moon drifting westward to the river plate seems to suggest Uruguay, that this could be Uruguay, somewhere between Uruguay and Argentina. Yeah, so there's also the reference to the Hornet Gate. So Sweeney guards the Hornet Gate. Portents are beginning as we would expect for some kind of mythological story, although this is satire, because the story is a debased one. But Sweeney guards the Hornet Gate. The Hornet Gate refers to the Odyssey, where Penelope, Ulysses' wife, talks about the Ivory Gate and the Hornet Gate. The Ivory Gate is a gate through which untrue dreams enter sleep, and the Hornet Gate is the gate through which true dreams, prophecies, enter into one's sleep. So it's difficult to know exactly how we should take this, but to me it seems like it's being suggested that Sweeney is not allowing any prophecies to take place here. He understands what's going on. He knows he's in danger, and he knows that he has to be careful. So he's guarding the Hornet Gate. He's making sure that any prophecies that might want to be made are not going to come true. Let's continue.
Gloomy Orion and the dog are veiled and hushed to shrunken seas. The person in the Spanish cape tries to sit on Sweeney's knees.
So Gloomy Orion and the dog refer to constellations. They're veiled, so obscured by cloud probably. They can't be seen. It's ominous portent. And similarly, hushed to the shrunken seas. So that's ominous too. No sound. There is a sense of foreboding. Something is about to happen. What happens? The person in the Spanish cape tries to sit on Sweeney's knees. What's happening? She's trying to take his attention so other people can do something else, or some other thing is happening. We just don't know. She has a Spanish cape, so the fact that we're in the Spanish-speaking world is emphasized here.
Slips and pulls the tablecloth, overturns a coffee cup. Reorganized upon the floor, she yawns and draws a stocking up.
So does she do this deliberately, or is it a genuine fall? Maybe it's a sign to the other people to do something. We don't know. Could be a drunken fall, which is not prearranged, or could be part of a prearranged plan. So she falls on the floor, and she yawns and pulls a stocking up.
The silent man in mocha brown sprawls at the windowsill and gapes. The waiter brings in oranges, bananas, figs, and hothouse grapes.
So there's a group of them, and there's a silent man in mocha brown at the window who's watching everything. The waiter brings in fruit, particularly bananas, figs, and hothouse grapes. It's worth mentioning that the figs and the grapes are purple, like the carpet rolled out by Clytemnestra for her returning husband, Agamemnon. So, is it being suggested that as the carpet was a sign of death for Agamemnon, the purple carpets, the colour of royalty, so these figs and grapes, purple figs and grapes, will be a sign of death for Sweeney? We don't know. But anyway, the possibility is there.
The silent vertebrate in brown contracts and concentrates, withdraws. Rachel, née Rabinovich, tears at the grapes with murderous paws.
So again, the emphasis on murder is emphasized, with Rachel tearing at the grapes with murderous paws. Eliot never passes up the chance to express his anti-Semitism. Rachel née Rabinovich, so she used to have a Jewish name, so she's from a Jewish background, and of course whenever that is mentioned in Eliot, it usually means that the person is untrustworthy and evil in some way. This is Eliot's anti-Semitism, which is so well known. However, it seems that the man knows what's going on. He doesn't allow himself to be drawn into the trap. He leaves the room and reappears. So, yeah, therefore the man with weary eyes, with heavy eyes, declines the gambit, shows fatigue. She and the lady in the cape are suspect thought to be in league. Therefore, the man with heavy eyes declines the gambit, shows fatigue. Eliot is talking about Sweeney here, so Sweeney knows that something is going on. He knows that the two women are in some kind of plot against him, so he declines to get involved and withdraws himself.
She and the lady in the cape are suspect, thought to be in league. Therefore the man with heavy eyes declines the gambit, shows fatigue, leaves the room and reappears outside the window, leaning in. Branches of wisteria circumscribe a golden grin.
So if he knows what's happening, he doesn't seem to be too worried about it. He goes outside and leans in from a window with a golden grin, his face framed by wisteria. So he's aware of the plot or some kind of gambit against him, but he's not too worried. He's still grinning, and it says a golden grin, so possibly this is emphasizing the fact that he's rich and has golden fillings in his teeth.
The host with someone indistinct converses at the door apart. The nightingales are singing near the convent of the Sacred Heart, and
so the plotting seems to continue. Maybe they have to change their plans. The first idea hasn't worked, so they need to concoct something else if they are going to have a chance to pull Sweeney into the trap. The host, that's the owner of the restaurant or the brothel, with someone indistinct, converses at the door apart, so they're plotting away. And then the nightingales are singing near the convent of the Sacred Heart. One needs to know here that at the time that Agamemnon was killed, it was said that the nightingales were singing in the wood. So this again is a reference to Agamemnon. Let's read the last verse, which is totally makes explicit the link to Agamemnon and Aeschylus.
Sang within the bloody wood, when Agamemnon cried aloud, and let their liquid siftings fall, to stain the stiff, dishonoured shroud.
So they sang within the bloody wood. when Agamemnon cried aloud at the moment of Agamemnon's death, when Clytemnestra stabbed him in the bath. The nightingales were singing their liquid siftings, their song. But the liquid siftings can also be excrement, which is later left on Agamemnon's shroud to stain the stiff, dishonoured shroud. So it's a little poem. We don't really know what's going on. We know nothing about the plan. We don't know how serious it is. We don't know if they're trying to do him in, or if it's just some kind of monetary swindle that they're contemplating. Sweeney seems to know what's going on, and at the beginning he's laughing, and later on he's grinning as he gets out the house and leans in. So he doesn't seem to be too bothered. If it's a serious plan against his life, then we can guess that he is not aware of that. He's aware of something going on, but it's nothing like that serious. So possibly they're just attempting to swindle him in this modern reworking of the Agamemnon myth, which is bound to be debased in comparison with the original. So the similarity is clear. There is Sweeney, and he is part of a group that is trying to trap him in some way, either to kill him or to swindle him. Possibly the latter is more likely when we consider all the angles. However, all these figures are coarse and vulgar compared to the great characters of the Greek heroic myths, and it shows how far humankind has declined, that what was great in the past and of great significance is now just mean and nasty, and something taking place in a seedy brothel or restaurant. So no need to know really the exact plan. It's not that important. The real important point is that the modern world is compared in an ironic and deprecating way to the great Agamemnon myth of the past. So Eliot, up to his usual tricks, and stating how bad the present is in comparison with the past. So that's what it's all about. It's a simple poem, really. Each stanza has one, two, three, 4 lines, and the second and the fourth line of each stanza rhyme. It's a simple rhyming poem, mostly iambic tetrameter, 8 syllables a line, but the iambic is variable, as is usually the case with Eliot, and it would be doubtful if you could really call it iambic in its entirety. There's also trochaic rhythms here, and basically it's the usual tour de force that we get with T.S. Eliot. He's doing all sorts of metrical and rhythmical things which are modern, and he doesn't allow us to settle into some kind of da-da-da-da-da-da meter. Good poem, I think. We never actually hear what's going on. We never learn what the plot is, but the interest is in the characters and the way they relate to each other, and the novel way in which Eliot creates a scene which has lots of mythical portents around it, and yet there is that distance between the mythological portents and the debased scene itself. So therein lies the irony, therein lies the satire. Great myths from the past, and portents and signs which were worthy of the past myth are here applied to a seedy little scene in the modern world. Good poem, I think. Great poem, even. Vocabulary is often difficult, as we often get with the modernists. They're not trying to make it easy for the reader, but the music of the lines is delightful, and often you don't even feel that you need to know what the words mean, as the music just washes over you. So that's Sweeney Among the Nightingales. Next time I hope to do Sweeney Erect. Thank you.